Today I'll be showing you what I made drawing inspiration from this pin on my DIY pics board on Pinterest. If you want to know what I did, just keep watching the video. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Yemi and I do DIY basically. So this is a measurement I'll be working with today to make the dress that I want to make. So like you saw in the picture earlier, this look is inspired by that picture. The sleeves are going to be slightly different from the sleeves in that picture. That's kind of like the major difference, and maybe my method of sewing might be slightly different as well because I'm not exactly sure how they went about the sewing from the picture. But these are the measurements I'm using, and basically I'm just going to making a similar dress, about the same length for the body for these measurements, right? It's kind of a plus size measurement basically. So I'm going to be ranting a little bit today, hopefully. So you probably just have to follow like my instructions that are written, below the video to know exactly what I'm doing per time. Basically, I'm just cutting the front and back of the dress, okay? Cutting like two rectangular pieces, one for the front and one for the back. And I'll have the measurements, right there on, they'll be displayed on the video basically, so that I can know exactly what I'm cutting and what I'm cutting. So for the waist, as you saw, for the, entire width of the dress, I just added 40 inches just extra so that when I gather with the elastic, everything just comes together nicely and looks full and nice as well. So that's pretty much it about that. You just add as much, elastic as you're thinking, as much space or fabric as you think you need to add, so that it's like when it all shrinks together or comes together, it looks, full and nice. Now I'm just using my iron to take away these labels, because it's if you start sewing with them, it might be hard. It will be hard to take off. So basically, I like to take them off before I start sewing. I sometimes I spray water on the back and then just iron, but this one I didn't have to because I'm actually using a steam iron, which is not exactly acting as a steam iron at this point. It's just doing what it likes, but it's okay. So I'm just ironing the back, because if I iron the front directly, it's going to like burn and get stuck on the iron. So I'm ironing the back of the dress, of the fabric where the labels are, so that I can take them out. Right now I'm just doing the bottom and top of the fabric. So kind of saying like a rolled hem at the top and at the bottom of the fabric. So what will be left will be the side seams of both the front and the back. I'm doing a rolled hem that's like half an inch, because I think that's like enough for what I want to do. I'm sorry if you're hearing this like whistling sound. I think it's like the alarm in the house. I think the battery is out or something. I don't know. But yeah. Right now I'm just, using my chalk to like measure, to draw horizontal lines from the top to the bottom of the fabric. And these each of these lines, the lines are spaced by about 1 inch. So in total I'd have about, say, 38 lines thereabout. So I'm going to sew elastic on each of these lines. Basically, I'm going to run elastic through each of these lines to kind of make everything, shrink and come together and gather to fit the body of the person I'm sewing this dress for. Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to draw lines from top to bottom basically. So what did I want to rant about earlier? It's about, the International Women's Day. If you are following you where what's going on, you know that Monday last week was International Women's Day. As you can see, I have lines from top to the bottom, and I'm kind of ready to like go to the elastic part. So I did this for both the front and the back piece of the dress basically. And I've cut my elastic. So I'm not using elastic thread, I'm using elastic bands. So I'm using the thin ones, the 3mm ones basically. So it kind of makes my work easier to do to an extent, but I mean, it's still a lot of work, to be honest. Sewing 38 lines, I thought was a joke till I started sewing, and I was like, what did I get myself into? Right now I'm just joining the seam on one end, so joining front and back piece on one side and then leaving the other side open till I'm done sewing the elastic to the dress. So I cut the elastic to the smallest circumference on the body. So the smallest circumference I had on the body, I think, was like 40 or 39. I can't remember. You can check my measurements to see. And so I just cut the elastic for that, to that length, and I was sure that it will go around the person. If I expand it, it will go around the widest circumference on that person's body. So that's pretty much what I did. And I'm just going to sew that length of elastic on each of the lines from the top to the bottom of the dress. That's basically the work. It's a lot of work. This is actually the main work in this thing, but It took me days to do simply because I was working and doing a bunch of other things. So I'll do like 10 lines in a day and then I'll pack it up. I'll go and sleep. I'll come back the next day, do another 10 lines and pack it up. You can sit straight up to do it, but I promise you that your legs might swell if you have such issues or you have like joint pain or whatnot. So I sewed with like the stitch 4 or stitch 5. You can use any of either of the two. I just chose stitch width so that it's small enough for to occupy just the 3 millimeter band of the elastic. So right now I'm just sewing my elastic. I use like zigzag stitches or whatnot. So what was I ranting about earlier? I was ranting about International Women's Day. So make sure to pull your elastic band as you're sewing because it just, helps. It helps the fabric, gather together like you're seeing there. So I did not like the theme for this International Women's Day. They said choose the challenge, and it makes me wonder. So what have we been doing all along? It's not challenging. We've been challenging since. It's not the same challenging. We've been challenging year after year for the past how many years? Is 7 or 8 years? I can't remember. But the point is, we've been challenging every year. And I'm wondering why is this year now choose a challenge? That's why Burger King, or was it Burger King? I think it was Burger King, had the guts to come and say women belong in the kitchen. I did get their points, but I don't know. It was just not making sense. But anyways, I feel I might not have like a better theme for this theme, but in my mind, I think maybe the next theme should be choose to drop money, choose to put your money where your mouth is, basically. You see that choose to challenge. I'm tired. We've been talking since talking, taking pictures, raising your hand up and doing all those things every year. I want to see them hire people, you know, give women jobs, give women money to start their businesses. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see pictures next year again of people just, taking pictures and, raising their hand up, their left hand or right hand. I'm not even sure which one they're raising. But the point is, I was a bit jaded. I still posted my picture on Instagram, by the way, because I kind of took it, so I posted it. But yeah, I was just not interested in what was going on. And I deliberately not open LinkedIn because I feel like of all the platforms to open, that's like the worst platform because you just find people just posting motivational quotes and whatnot about
tètè
what they're
kí
doing or what they're not
tí
doing. And
láwùjọ ẹ̀fọ́. Does that make sense?
and it makes no sense. But anyways, I'll kind of hope that next year is kind of better and makes more sense with their theme and people actually drop money for what they want to do. So I'm done sewing top to bottom and I've joined the other side, the other end, seam together, and I'm just cutting the sleeves. I have the measurement displayed right now, so I'm cutting the sleeves for the dress, and I'm kind of making my sleeves extravagant and somewhat so it's kind of wide. It's very wide. I can remember the person that I'm sewing this dress was saying, oh, she didn't want her sleeves to be wide and whatnot, but then when she wore it, she was like, yes, she loved it. And I was so thankful that I did not change my mind or reduce the length of the sleeve because I'd have been so pissed if it didn't look the way I wanted it to look. Anyways, because I'm making my sleeves slightly different, I'm just cutting, that measurement that you see that I just displayed there, so that she would be able to, wear the sleeves on her shoulders as opposed to just having it hang around the biceps like we have in the initial picture. So that's kind of the change that I made. Apart from sewing with elastic band, this is like the second change that I made. So yeah, after doing that, I decided to fold this over by like an inch and a half and then I did cut some extra again on that end that I cut earlier just so that everything matches up by the time I'm sewing together. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but I feel like if you're used to sewing you can understand what's going on here. So that's what I did with that part, and I just kept cutting extra, and because I had excess I could really do this. If I did not have excess, it would be hard for me to actually go ahead and be cutting this much. So I also went on to sew like the bottom of the sleeve. I joined the sides together. So by the way, there are two pieces on the floor, one for the left hand, one for the right hand. So you might not be able to see that clearly, but there are actually two pieces of fabric on the floor right now. So now I'm just going to sew like the bottom. I've done the seam of the sleeve, and I'm just going to do the bottom and the top as well. After doing that, I'm passing elastic through the wrist which is like the bottom of the sleeve. So that's based on like the measurements. The elastic I cut is based on the measurement of the wrist of the person I am sewing for. So I think it was 7 inches or 7.5, somewhere around that. So just passing that through the wrist so that all that part comes together and looks nice. And I'm just going to sew the elastic. Basically, I do it the same way I do every normal casing for my elastic. If you watch like previous videos that I've done doing sleeves like this, you'd have an idea what I'm talking about. I could link videos that are related to this in my description box so that you can know. I think video that's closely related to this as a jump is the romper. I think so. I also wanted to cut elastic for the shoulders. So because this sleeve is going to go over the shoulders and also around the biceps, like it could go both ways. You could wear it both ways. So I think my client particularly wanted it to go over her shoulders so that she could feel a little more comfortable. So that is why I was cutting the sleeve this way. And I basically went with a measurement of, I think I used about 11 inches or thereabout. I still had to like reduce it because it became a bit, it felt loose when she wore it. So I had to reduce like the elastic I used at the shoulder so that it's like slightly smaller. So I'd say you could use roughly around 10 inches thereabout to, especially if you're not plus size. And if you're plus size, maybe 10.5 or 11 would work. So after doing that, I went on to join the sleeves to the dress. I'd have like a close-up video so that you can see me pinning the sleeves to the dress. So I'm aligning the seam of the sleeve to the seam of the dress, and I'm just going to pin them towards each end. So bear in mind that I did not, I didn't pass the elastic to go through the entire sleeve. Like they both had like ends that I had to like tighten on each side. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but I think you can kind of like see what's going on. And I'm just going to sew the sleeve to the dress, and then that's kind of like the end of this drama. That's the end of this sewing of this look, basically. So this is like the first of hopefully the many Pinterest inspired looks that I'll be doing. I hope to do more this year. This is like the first one. I have a couple more that are coming up that I'll like let you know when I'm done. You must look nice. You must look nice on my clients. You must look beautiful. Hey God, problem. No, be positive. It is going to look beautiful. So my client's about to wear the dress.
Yeah, adjusting it as we want to. Nothing is fine. We're fine. Use the front and back.
I try be Bella.
You don't be.
Yo. Yes. With this.
So let me know in the comment section how well I nailed the look, okay? Thank you.
Hey, I see you're enjoying the content so far. How about you just go ahead and subscribe if you're not subscribed yet? Go ahead and click that red button and subscribe, alright? Thank you. Okay, you can keep on watching.